sub for one of the guys from the factory, and I can't remember which one it was from the factory, but he subbed somebody from there because of a injury. You had Private Party and Matt Hardy. Yeah, at one point there was a stand up between Matt Hardy and Christian where they kind of make a reference to the whole TLC 2 and the 5 second pose and I was extreme when you were with Edge kind of thing, kind of like a nostalgia pop. Um, and then of course what ended up coming down to Jungle Boy and Christian Cage. Jungle Boy slipped through and got the win. Christian Cage or Christian from WWE kind of like take advantage of it, make it count, things like that. And Christian just put over Jungle Boy. There's a lot of criticism from a lot of people that kind of watch wrestling that AEW is taking in too many former WWE guys. Here's my critique on that. I would agree with you if they were the only ones getting over. They're not. Christian put over Jungle Boy. Christian's made everyone look like $1 million that he's worked with. Hardy is giving a rub to Private Party, Butcher and Blade, and Allie, or the bunny, by being associated with him. He's making them matter more, and if he's kind of working with them, even better.
And you have think about it, Jericho's giving a rub to damn near everybody in the inner circle.
Well, he has that, and he put over Orange Cassidy by losing the Mimosa match.
Yep.
And he put over Darby Allin by making him look crazy. He won. Jericho won against Darby Allin, but he made Darby Allin look relevant by him almost beating Jericho with his hands handcuffed behind his back. They're not coming in and dominating. They're not doing a Brock Lesnar. They're not doing what TNA did, where like when Christian came over to TNA, he won the NWA title from Jeff Jarrett. It's nothing like that. The only title holders from WWE that they've had are Jon Moxley, which honestly, Moxley and Ambrose are not the same character. And Moxley has shown to be an asset for even like New Japan. It was Jericho. Jericho lost it to Moxley, made Moxley look like $1 million, and Moxley won it to Omega and put him over. Then you had the TNT title, which Cody Rhodes didn't win. Sorry, that's going to happen. He made Brody Lee look like a monster and get in defeat. This is one of the ones I kind of agree with you guys on when it comes to Cody, because Cody then beat Brody Lee and made it look way too easy, and I don't like that. But then he got beat by Darby Allin. Darby Allin carried it for a while, and then he lost it to Miro. Which, with Miro, they're kind of rebuilding the character because Rusev has been a joke in WWE for the last 3 years, if not longer, because of how they're treating him. They basically had Lana be like, make him look weak to Bobby Lashley, even though he got over with Happy Rusev Day. So I'm fine with Miro holding the title. You have Big Show that's only on commentary for the most part, and they're kind of giving another life to him. And you got Mark Henry that's going to be mainly commentary. It's not like they're coming in to dominate and win. It looks like they're kind of doing everything right. They're going to need the people from name value because WWE is the most recognized brand in wrestling. You also have to take into consideration that WWE in the last 5 years tried to sign damn near everybody to kind of prevent AEW from happening and keep people away from AEW. Now they kind of accepted that AEW is there and they're not going anywhere, so they're going to kind of cut the fat where they can.
And they to all be treated better. Like, that's one of the reasons why Big Show left, was they didn't like how they were using him and stuff.
Well, Mark Henry basically said the same thing. Mark Henry and the reason I brought this up because Mark Henry was announced to be a commentator on Rampage. Mark Henry basically said the same thing in an interview since then. He was just more or less like, look, I wanted to keep doing this and they wouldn't give me an actual title. I was doing it for free. I'd rather get paid to do it. And Mark Henry, I don't remember everybody, but he has kind of scouted a lot of people that WWE picked up and ended up doing well there. So, and I think Leo Rush was one of the people that Mark Henry scouted as well. So he has expressed that he prefers independent wrestling. He doesn't really watch WWE. He knows Vince doesn't watch independent, but he does. He's more entertained by it. But to me, it seems like a more of a good pickup. And if it makes sense for the business, in a sense that it makes sense for AEW to pick up these people and pay them the whatever wages that they're paying them, more power to them. And then the whole consideration with the commentary, I'm not a fan of majority of WWE's commentary. There's a couple of people that I like. Michael Cole, I respect him, but I don't like his style. I do not like his style. Corey Graves, I kind of liked in the beginning, but he's getting on my nerves now. And that could be just him doing the right thing. Who knows? When it comes to commentary that WWE has, I actually kind of prefer Pat McAfee, and I kind of prefer Wade Barrett. I like the way what Wade Barrett brings to it, and I actually like Samoa Joe. I can't believe that they cut him off of commentary, but when it comes to the commentary with AEW, I prefer Excalibur and Tony Schiavone. And I also could be biased for Schiavone because I like Schiavone when I watched WCW back in the day. But he comes across like a true fan, and I like the little jabs he throws here and there. You know.
Yeah, I'll be honest. When I saw Backlash, it was the first time I watched WWE in a while, so I never really even heard Pat McAfee. And then I watched Backlash, and I'm like, he's actually not bad.
Pat McAfee comes across like a fan, which is why it's working.
Yep.
And that's kind of what you need because the only reason WWF had good commentary back in the day is because Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler were fans. Jerry Lawler was having fun doing the job. Jim Ross was a fan, and even though he had Vince McMahon barking in his ear, he enjoyed it. And that's why you get like some of the best commentary from back then, and like when Undertaker threw Mankind off the cage the second time, you hear that's it, he's dead. I mean that's memorable. Jim Ross has his own little kind of niches that he says, slobber knocker, he damn near broke in half, things like that. But again, it's commentary. JR is gonna have to retire relatively soon. He's getting up there in age, so they definitely need someone on the voice that's kind of tied to being known for AEW for being on the voice. And then you got let's go to Taz. Taz is just a manager, but he's making Brian Cage look good. He's making Ricky Starks look good. Will Hobbs looks good because of it. And then you have Hook that's being tied to him. Yeah, he's family, but Taz, in my opinion, is one of the better managers going right now on TV. Heyman's definitely there, but Taz is another one. So, although I wish he would have called it something else. I really wish he called his team something else besides Team Taz. But it is what it is. So here's another critique. This is one of the things I don't like about AEW, and I'm sorry, it's gonna be targeted at Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes calling himself the American Dream against Anthony Ogogo. In a singles match. What I don't like is him invoking the American Dream. It made way too obvious that he's going to win that one because there's no way you're going to have someone calling themselves the American Dream lose on Memorial Day weekend. Some people said it made Anthony Ogogo look good and it kind of gave him that spotlight, which it might be true. I just wish he would have sold the punches a little bit better than he did. He didn't make it seem as deadly as the others made it seem that Anthony Ogogo had faced and even laid in cheap shots too. So it kind of dissolved that whole story, but that was my annoyance with it. I personally would have preferred if Anthony Ogogo won that match. I think it would have done more for him. He probably did get the rub from taking Cody pretty far, but I don't know. It's, in my opinion, with him having the issues that he's having with blindness and that he's got to retire young, I think now would be the time to kind of strap a rocket to him and let him take advantage of what time he does have left. But it's not my company. I'm not saying I'm wrong, but it's what I would have done. But Cody ended up winning it with a vertebreaker. What do you think of this one?
This is one of the only matches I couldn't really get into a whole lot. I don't know what it was. I just couldn't it's weird because Cody Rhodes, I know who he is. And I mainly watch matches where I know who they are. But it's one of those rare Cody matches I couldn't get into.
Yeah, when it comes to Cody, I have a love-hate relationship with his matches. I liked a lot of his character work in WWE. the whole being hideous thing. The whole
Dashing.
not the dashing, but the after that, but also Stardust. Even though he didn't like Stardust, I actually enjoyed his work at Stardust. But this was just one of those where I didn't agree with how they went with it. I'm not saying it was a bad match at all. It's just I don't agree with how they did it.
Yeah, and that's the match. I just couldn't get into it a whole lot. I don't know.
Yeah. The next one, I actually really had fun with this one. Miro versus Lance Archer.
Yeah.
Miro won it with a submission, but man, this was a good back and forth, and it made Lance Archer look good, made him look agile in comparison to Miro.
Yeah,
So
big, agile, big men knocking the fuck out of each other pretty much.
it's just one of those where if they end up wanting to put the title on Lance, which I would not be against at all, but if they wanted to, they made him definitely look worthy of getting the title.
Yeah.
But it was a good back and forth. Miro looked strong in it, which is what he needed. That's all I really have to say about it. Besides him chucking the obviously fake snake in the sack from Jake Roberts, I don't agree with that spot, but we get what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Britt Baker against Hikaru Shida. Britt Baker took the title. Britt Baker was one of the reasons, or one of the main things that kept it going through the whole pandemic. Her little, when she was injured, and the focus on her and making Tony Schiavone be a part of it, and kind of getting her over character-wise. I mean, Britt Baker deserved the title. I do think that they definitely need to expand more on the women's division, but that's just me. But this was definitely one of the things that I knew should have happened, and I agree with it. And it couldn't have been done at a better time. And Britt Baker has definitely shown her worth here with doing the hardcore matches that she did with Thunder Rosa and everything else. Britt definitely earned this and deserves every bit of it.
Yeah, from stuff I've seen a lot about Britt Baker, and I kind of figured she was going to win it. That was finally time to just pull the trigger with it. I did enjoy the match. It's one of the few women's matches that have happened recently that I've actually enjoyed. I mean, with AEW and Impact and WWE, because those are the main three things I watch.
Right.
It is definitely one of the women's matches I actually enjoyed.
Yeah, Britt Baker, character-wise, has done amazing work. She's made herself look like you must watch. And she has a pretty good submission in the form of lockjaw for her character because, DMD, dentist. And just the whole heel work that she's done. And one of the things I find most memorable was from last year where she would sit next to commentary and pass notes to Tony Schiavone for him to read on air. And I can't remember all of them, but I remember one of them. He just oh, Britt Baker wants me to read this on air. No, I'm not. No, I am not reading that. No, it was one of those where they made it entertaining. I didn't realize that Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky were called the Men of the Year, but we had Darby Allin and Sting versus Men of the Year, and I did not expect Sting to do as much work as he did here, jumping off the I almost call it dice chips. That's not the real thing. Poker chips, and he actually got very physical in the match, and he looked not bad doing it. If he's physically able to, and as long as he's able to keep up with that pace, I'm okay with it. Undertaker, I didn't necessarily think he had to retire fully, but it made sense why, because you could tell he was losing his ability to go in the ring. And I think with Sting having lighter schedules when Undertaker had heavier schedules, I think that plays a lot into it. Because the road definitely wore in on the Undertaker, especially in the early 2000s.
Yep. I think
that's at that time
to do with it.
I think it has a lot to do with it. And that at that time, Sting wasn't really doing house shows. He was just doing TNA stuff. And TNA's travel is nowhere near as bad as WWE's. And even then, WCW's travel wasn't as bad as WWE's. So I think that extended it.
When you say about the schedule, I saw or I heard a couple things where Booker T, when he was in TNA, he thought about